Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This has been a great August, and the highlight of August so far has been Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. And I don't know about you, but I was one of those people that watched very first night, so I added to the amazing first episode viewership on HBO Max. This isn't a new thing, having a spin-off episode of a very popular show. And so when you have a spin-off, you always come in with, you're going to automatically compare it to the original. This one is, I thought they did a great job. So how this was different with the original, they're starting out in semi-peaceful times, although they tease there's a lot of cracks in the foundation of this piece. The crown is, of course, at the center of that controversy, which it's called Game of Thrones, so it has to be.
The Iron Throne is the most dangerous seat in the realm.
And the current controversy is who's going to be the successor. Now, what I look for in a show is characters. And so far, the characters have got me hooked. So you got Matt Smith playing Daemon Targaryen. He is the brother of the current king. And he kind of is the successor currently. And then you have his daughter, who is a very strong character and is not set in being the traditional girl that people want her to be, and she's the one that rides dragons. I am so glad they picked this house as their first spinoff because we get to see the dragons. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I love watching the dragons. Like, we better get to see them in battle. Now, Game of Thrones is a lot of twists and turns, and who's gonna kill the king or who's gonna take this person out. It didn't really set us up yet for what's going on as far as who's jockeying for position. They kind of made it seem like there was really 2 to 3 people that really want the crown. The king is he seems like a pretty nice guy. He's not the tyrant. So Game of Thrones is known for its huge sex scenes, and we didn't see a lot of that. They definitely toned down on the nudity, in which I had heard before they were going to do. It doesn't mean they didn't have it in there, because it was certainly there. So it's not a kids show. The other thing is the violence, and the violence was there loud and proud. The joust in the beginning or middle of the show, I thought was some good action. I really seemed like sort of a gentleman's game, then it wasn't a gentleman's game. So I love that. As far as budding romances and love interests, you kind of see some people batting eyes, but I didn't really see a lot of that yet. And then the very gruesome scene, the birth. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't want to spoil it for you. It is pretty brutal. So you might want to skip past if you're squeamish. It really set the foundation for where the show is going to go, though. It's, who's going to get the throne. It's really down between a couple people. And can they keep this everlasting peace, or is all heck going to break loose? Because right now, all the different houses are all in alliance, and they all seem to be agreeing, but it wouldn't be Game of Thrones without some controversy. There wasn't a ton of different storylines. I remember when I watched Game of Thrones, it seemed like sometimes we'd get entire seasons before we saw a character again. And so I think as a pilot, you really got to get the audience hooked on a few characters first, and it did a great job of that. This was a fast-paced episode. I've actually watched it twice, which I don't normally do. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So it was fast-paced, enough intrigue that you want to see where the characters are going to do next. The king kind of teases that he might be sick, so he may not be along for very long. In the original Game of Thrones series, the king lasted about the whole first season. My guess is he's not going to make it very much longer. Seems like he's made a few enemies with his choices. And I'm going to be right there on Sunday nights to view it. So I'm going to give this first episode an A. Yeah, all the Game of Thrones things that I wanted to see. I wanted to see some good action. I wanted to see some world building, which is important for any new show. I mean, you've got to like the characters. I like the characters. I think the brother's the villain. That's my take so far. Um, I'm curious though because he has a close connection with the daughter, and so they seem to be the two main ones trying to get the throne. And I don't know if you catch this, but I thought the hand was actually a little dirty. He's kind of leading the king on certain decisions. Doesn't seem to like the brother either. So who do you think's the bad guy so far? Who do you think is going to be the next king? If you were getting your DraftKings app out and you were making bets, who do you think's next? Do you think it's going to go to who they pick as the successor? And I don't want to say if you haven't watched the episode yet. Do you think there's another player? Or is there someone we haven't met yet and so far it's just too obvious? So I loved the first episode. I want to hear what you think down below. And if you could, give me a subscribe, because if turns out to be a really popular video, I definitely want to try to review it every week. Although I will warn you, there's a lot of good shows out right now, and I'm trying to keep up with, and I want to make sure you guys get the best reviews you can, and you're informed so you make the best decisions for what you want to watch. So Game of Thrones, just to recap, it's a violent show like it was before. It is focused on the Targaryens, so they're the ones that have the dragons. So if you're into dragons, that's great. The politicking is back. So if you watch the show for politicking, so really this is full on Game of Thrones. It doesn't feel like a watered down spinoff. It very much is a pilot. It's the intro to the story, which is what it should be. So we'll keep judging it as it goes along. Gambit gave his Gambit paw of approval, and he's excited to keep watching it. So after you hit that subscribe button, give me the thumbs up, and then make sure you comment below, because when you watch my videos, you're going to find something to brag about.